Hi everyone! The prompt for this video said that I needed to give you guys some key ideas that I learned in this class, and wow, I don't know if I could narrow it down to just a few. I learned a whole lot in this class. Thank you so much. I learned from everyone in the discussion boards, and it was very encouraging to see that I'm not the only one who deals with leadership challenges and that we all have them. I think probably the biggest thing that I learned from this class is that I am an accidental diminisher. And that was a really hard realization to come to. Some of my earliest leadership training was in Air Force Junior ROTC in high school. And that was a very top-down military. The leaders make the decisions and the subordinates are expected to follow their orders. And for my brain that's wired to be very black and white, I thrived in that. I liked being told what to do and doing it to the best of my ability excellently, and having that very clear hierarchy and chain of command. It left me not to question who was in charge. I knew who to go to if I needed something. And then I got involved in ministry at my church, and the church leaders operated much in the same way, where they would make decisions in very small meetings and then lay out the direction that the ministry was supposed to go, and we, as members of the team, were just expected to do that to the best of our ability and to go forward and try to minister as best we could within the bounds of what the leadership had said to do. And unfortunately, I thought that to be a great leader, that I too had to make all the decisions and have all the answers, and then to just kind of tell other people what to do, and they would go forward and follow my orders. And that I have been learning for the past several years throughout my Moody courses, and in this one also was reaffirmed that is not the Jesus way to lead a ministry, that it's not reflective of his character or how he led when he was on earth. The multiplier book taught me more specifically how that leadership style that of a diminisher affects other people, how it demeans them and it puts them down and it makes them not want to put forth their best effort, and how they don't want to be a part of the team then. And that is the exact opposite of everything that I strive for as a leader. I want other people to want to be a part of the team and excited about what's happening in the ministry and giving their best ideas and working 100%. So being able to label myself as an accidental diminisher was actually quite helpful. Now knowing that I can move forward and not look back on how I led in the past, but focus on doing a better job in the future. The first step towards becoming a multiplier for me will be to change my assumptions. And the biggest one is that people are capable, people are smart, and will figure out a way to solve the challenge if given the right opportunity and the right encouragement. I also must assume that people can and will take responsibility for a problem if they see a challenge, and when given the right tools and support, that they will choose to stretch themselves and really go forward and do a great job. The basic effect of these assumptions on my ministry will be that I'll just treat people better. I will trust them, I will work with them, and I can more effectively show them Jesus' love and how much he cares for them and how much I care for them and how vital they are to the ministry. I will also appear and likely will be as I work through this, a more humble leader. I didn't realize how subtly prideful being a diminisher is. And as I view my role more of that of a supporter and an encourager and an investor, that I will really be able to kind of step back and not view myself as important. Another key point that I took away from this class is to be a genius watcher. I'd never heard about each person having their own genius. It makes total sense now that I've heard it. And it's going to be actually quite fun and exciting for me to be able to watch. I love watching people and seeing what makes them tick. And I love puzzles and challenges, and so being able to find each person's unique nuances and what makes them special will be really fun for me. I just returned to teaching Sunday school again last week, and since my daughter was born, she's now 5 months old, and I got this unique kind of unsettling that the other two leaders that I teach with were not in the right kind of role, or not being utilized to their fullest potential, and that they may actually be kind of bored with what they're supposed to be doing. And so I'm really excited to be able to apply being a genius watcher to them, and even though I only get to see them for a couple minutes on a Sunday morning, I can start to understand what really makes them go, what drives them, and what they're really great at. And with permission from the director, we can work through their roles and responsibilities, and hopefully encourage them that they are making a big difference, first of all, but they can make an even bigger impact on the kids' lives if they just do what they're great at. I can also be a genius watcher with the kids in my class, and that's going to be very exciting too. I have one student in particular that's really great at taking, she sees in her mind the story that we're talking about, but she's able to take that vision that's in her brain and put it down onto paper. She's a fantastic artist, and just with great detail and accuracy, she can draw a picture of the concepts that we're talking about in class. And I think for her, I can label her as a great visual artist, and she can get excited about the lessons if I ask her to draw them, and then help the other students, even because they're visual learners, but they might not have that ability to be able to put it on paper. And so she can actually become a helpful member leader of the class and teach others through her drawings. Labeling the genius of others will definitely allow them to make the greatest contribution in the ministry, because they will be thriving in a role that is specifically tailored to how God has created them and wired them, and how He has chosen to manifest Himself and give them those giftings. Another key point, I suppose, that I learned from this class is to just remain focused on the right thing. And it wasn't really a new concept for me, but a really great reminder. I found that even as just a teacher in a Sunday school environment, it's very easy for me to focus on how many students were in class, and did they appear to be engaged, or were they tapping their feet and talking over me, and to judge whether or not that morning or ministry is effective based on the things that I can see. And it was a great reminder to remain focused on life change, and even indicators that I thought were better than numbers necessarily, like the number of kids who choose to get baptized, or those that rededicate their lives to Christ, or those that read their Bible throughout the week, they aren't even necessarily great indicators of life change because they're still just on the outside. So I think in order to really stay focused on this and to help others stay focused on this, we can become master storytellers. I love a great story, and we have several of them that come up in class. And I'm not suggesting we exaggerate or add in extra details, but for example, one day I might see a kid who consistently has chosen to be the boss in a game. He likes to lead. He likes to tell others what to do. And if I see in a class, for example, that he during a game willfully chose to let somebody else lead, that would be a great story to share, because it could indicate that he is becoming more aware of others and more selfless and thinking about what other people want before him. And those are the types of things we want to look for. The stories that we share could be used to encourage those on the team, because we will effectively get to see how God is working. And of course, all the praise and the glory goes to him, but that is the most exciting part, when you get to see God working in someone's life to do exactly what he said he was going to do and change them and make them more like him. Another key point that I learned and that I struggle with is making mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. We will make mistakes. And it was quite liberating to read that we will make mistakes. And then I actually experienced making a mistake in my job about a week or 2 weeks after reading that chapter, and my boss was very gracious, just like Liz Wiseman suggested in her book, and said, okay, well, we learned from this experience and we'll do it different next year. And so that was really, really great for me to be a part of. I tend to set very high expectations for myself and consequently for those around me. And it's quite, I wouldn't say, it's quite discouraging. It's quite discouraging when I don't live up to my own expectations. But I think as I allow myself to make mistakes and I admit my mistakes to others, and I allow them to make mistakes, that I will become a much more approachable leader. And people won't be scared of failing because they know that it's more of a learning opportunity, and that I don't expect perfection. I expect hard work, and that they will put forth their best effort. But ultimately, at least in ministry context, usually we're not the ones who can do what matters. We're not the ones who can change lives. Only Christ can. So I'm hoping that as I become more willing to share my mistakes and I allow others, that I will be a much more approachable leader, and that the team won't be scared to try new things, but we can work together and make those mistakes together and really get a great program that is perfect for the students that we have in the area that we live in and the size of our church. Finally, I learned a lot of little things that I can do to be a better multiplier, like use the poker chips to talk less in a meeting, or debate important decisions with the team so that they're involved, and allowing them to see the need before I just lay it out. And overall, I think the lesson is that leadership's not about me. It's not about the leader, it's about the people that we lead, and really building them up and investing in their lives and challenging them and developing them so that they learn to become great leaders and they lead for Jesus and their lives are changed to be for Jesus. So thank you so much for this class. I learned a ton. It was great, and have a good night.